Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Today we have a rankings video for TNA stroke Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view Bound for Glory. So I'm going to rank them from worst to best, in my opinion obviously. Your opinions are obviously going to be different to mine. I'd like to hear yours below in the comments if you want to do that. I'm happy to do that, or give me your top 5. Yeah, so there's 17 in all from 2005 to 2021. And yeah, obviously I can't include this year's one because it's not happened yet. So I'm doing this as part of a celebration I'd like to do every year as a, Bound for Glory season tribute, I guess. And I thought I'd do this, for this year as something different and something new. So as I said, my own opinion on how I've ranked them from worst to best. My opinions and how I feel about them all do change from time to time. But here we are, beginning with the worst, in my opinion, at this time, ranked 17th on the list. Bound for Glory 10 10 10. So this was the first Bound for Glory with Hogan and Bischoff in charge, and I don't know why, but I just don't seem to like it very much. I mean, the matches weren't terrible on it. It's just it didn't feel like a really good Bound for Glory. It just didn't feel like a good TNA pay-per-view. They could have put out something a lot better. It all felt rushed into the months building up to it as well. And yeah, the main event, the triple threat, it was okay, I guess, but it just something you would see on Impact, just during the week and not on a pay-per-view. I mean, we had the Lethal Lockdown as well, Fortune against EV 2.0 with that ongoing EV 2.0 feud when they first came into TNA around the summer of 2010, as they had that pay-per-view as well, Hardcore Justice, that kind of tribute to ECW, or some might say a rip-off of One Night Stand 2005 and 2006. But yeah, that was okay, and the Monsters Ball match was okay as well between Abyss and Rob Van Dam, but everything else didn't really shout out to me much. But yeah, unfortunately, this at the moment is ranked as my least favorite. I'm not saying it's completely bad. I will like to revisit it at some point, but the last time I watched it, it kind of made me feel that way. Next up, in 16th place, we have Bound for Glory 2020. Now, I don't know why I feel negative thoughts about this one. Is it because of it was during the pandemic? I'm not so sure. But there are a couple good matches on there. Don't get me wrong. I like DC3 versus Moose. Not too sure about the outcome of that one, though. Eddie Edwards and Ken Shamrock. It was good to see Ken Shamrock back, wrestling again around this time. Really cool. And he had, Sami Callihan with him. But the rest of the Bound for Glory just felt, not very good. Very low rate. I don't mean to be rude or horrible, but the main event as well, it felt very weak. No disrespect towards Eric Young and Rich Swann, but the main event didn't feel like a main event to me. Over the years we've had really big stars in the main event, and both of these didn't feel at this time main event caliber to me. So yeah, that's number 16 in the rankings. Sorry guys, I just knocked the camera then. Number 15 is Bound for Glory 2015. Now, this was the time when EC3 was unbeaten, undefeated, or never been pinned kind of thing. And yeah, Matt Hardy won the championship here, and the match itself wasn't very good. And it was vacated, I think, the following week on Impact Wrestling, and then we had that awesome tournament put together to crown the new TNA World Champion. And I enjoyed that tournament, but not to go off topic at the moment, to stay on topic of this pay-per-view. This, I felt it wasn't that good. Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong, it was okay. Eric Young versus Kurt Angle as well wasn't too bad. The main event, as I said, I didn't really like that one. Was it because EC3 didn't win? I'm not sure. I just felt like it was a waste of time of letting Matt Hardy win, and only to him to vacate the championship, and we had that tournament. I can't remember if he was injured around this time or not. It was such a long time ago, but yeah. And the rest of the undercard, is average, the sort of stuff you'd see on TV, and not, as a pay-per-view quality. But yeah, that's number 15 in my rankings. Then we have, for 14th place, Bound for Glory 2008, or Bound for Glory 4, as they tried to do Roman numerals with Bound for Glory for only this one time. And we don't have the match listing on the back, but I'll just read some of the matches to you. So we had, for example, Sheik Abdul Bashir versus Consequences Creed, which I didn't really enjoy. Taylor Wilde against Awesome Kong, average kind of match. Beer Money against Matt Morgan, Abyss, Latin American Exchange, and Team 3D. It was like a monstrous bull match for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. It was okay, that one. Booker T and AJ Styles, I felt, and Christian Cage, I felt could have been a bit better in the three-way match. They had a three-way war. Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett had a singles match with Mick Foley as special guest enforcer. That one went on a bit too long. And Sting and Samoa Joe for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. I didn't really like that main event very much. No disrespect to Samoa Joe or Sting, but I felt like they could have had a better match for the biggest event, of their promotions calendar, for that year. 17, 16, 15, 14. Number 13 now. And we have Bound for Glory 2013. And it's strange because I keep getting mixed emotions about this one. Sometimes I go through phases where I enjoy it, and then there's other times where I feel like I don't. I think it's because I'm getting put off of the fact I know what happens, after AJ Styles becomes champion and then, decides to just leave the company not long after this, like a few months after or whatever it is, or beginning of 2014. And the way that Sting put Magnus over, and it just didn't feel like it was the right time, even though Magnus, or Nick Aldis, if you will, has gone on to do better things now. He's been that, NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the longest, not the longest running maybe, but he had a long reign as a World Champion in NWA, and that was pretty impressive. Yeah, so he did go on to better things. So fair play to him for that. And then we had the Kurt Angle Bobby Roode 2 match, as I like to call it, because they had another match 2 years prior to this at Bound for Glory 2011. But this one didn't feel as good as the 2011 match. And yeah, the rest of the card, I got to be in the mood. You know what I mean? Sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't. It's strange. The Ultimate X match, for example. Sometimes I do like to watch that one. Sometimes I don't. I don't know what it is, but you know, it's average. This at the moment, to me, it's average. It probably go up in the rankings again if I was to do another rankings in the future, but at the moment, it stands there at number 13. Number 12, we have Bound for Glory 2006. Yeah, the main event between Jeff Jarrett and Sting, and we had a special enforcer, Kurt Angle. See, yeah, that again, I've got to be in the mood for that match as well, because sometimes I do enjoy watching that one back, and then there's times when I don't feel in the mood too. So I have mixed feelings on that one. The six sides of steel for the World Tag Team title was pretty cool. LAX against AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. And then the 8 Mile Street Fight was pretty awesome as well. Rhino and Christian Cage going at it. And then a good X Division Championship match as well. So this, another one of those, like Bound for Glory 2013, I'm in between. Sometimes I appreciate it and sometimes I don't. And it could change again in the future. It'd probably go up the list a bit more, depending on my mood. Number 11, Bound for Glory 2009. Excuse me, guys. So this is the one just before Hogan and Bischoff had taken over as, with control of the company and, creative control, doing whatever they want. And it had a very enjoyable, in my opinion, main event between AJ Styles and Sting for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then the question was asked, is this Sting's final curtain call? And obviously Dixie Carter every year was, persuading Sting, give it another year, one more year, go on, give us one more year, stay with us, please, Steve, please. And then, oh, okay, Dixie, you twisted my arm, I'll stay another year. And he got to the stage where he knew what was going to happen, and then he extends his contract for another 12 months. And that's cool. And this match was amazing. I thought it's in my top 5 favorite Bound for Glory matches of all time. And I really enjoy that one. Kurt Angle against Matt Morgan, an average match. I did like the Mick Foley versus Abyss Monsters Ball Hardcore Extreme match. That was very brutal, very hard hitting, very awesome. ODB versus Awesome Kong as well. A battle of the, really big muscular women. Very enjoyable as well. But yeah, this one is I feel slightly better than 2013 and 2006. But again, I've put it above those just because of that main event that I really enjoyed. But it also falls in that category of got to be in the right mood for it. And yeah. So moving on to number 10 in the rankings. Bound for Glory from 2016. This is where, in my opinion, Bound for Glory start to get a little bit more better now. And we had EC3 versus Lashley in that awesome no holds barred match in the main event. And we also had Gail Kim against Marie Kanellis Bennett. The amazing Great War tag team title match between Matt and Jeff Hardy against Decay. Aaron Rex versus Eddie Edwards I wasn't too fussed about. Moose versus Mike Bennett again as an average match. The Bound for Glory 10-man gauntlet match for the future world title shot. With Eli Drake in it as well. That was pretty cool to watch. And the X Division Championship match between Trevor Lee and DJZ was okay, I guess, as well. We had the debut of Cody and Brandy Rhodes, and that didn't really go anywhere. So that's probably why I've let this one drop down the rankings slightly. So yeah, that's number 10 in my rankings, guys. Number 9 is where it all began. A Time for Greatness, the very first ever Bound for Glory from 2005. And this card was absolutely stacked. We had lots of interesting matches on it, and again, this is one where I enjoy the matches, and I feel like, oh wow, I'm gonna watch this one tonight, or just watch a few of the matches from this one tonight, because you know they're really good. And then other times I'm like, oh, I've seen that too many times now. I don't really want it. So again, mixed emotions on it, but I feel like this one's much better than these other ones here, these four here, for example. But I also appreciate that this was the very first ever Bound for Glory as well, so it deserves a little bit more of a higher rank, in my opinion. Uh, Okay-ish kind of main event, Jeff Jarrett against Rhino, I guess, and we had a special referee, Tito Ortiz. We had that 10-man gauntlet to determine the number one contender match with some big names in there like Abyss, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, for example. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels for the X Division Championship in an Iron Man match. Absolutely awesome. Again, but it's one of those I've seen quite a few times now, and it's not got boring, but it sort of makes me feel like I need to drop this Bound for Glory in particular in ranking of how I feel about it. But again, this one could go up in the rankings in the future. If I leave it long enough, I'll enjoy it more, and then I'll think, let's move it back up again. But yeah, for now, that's number 9, guys. Number 8 is Bound for Glory 2021. Excuse me, guys. So, this one, again, I'm always coming back to that main event between Christian Cage and Josh Alexander for that Impact World Championship, because the celebration is cut short after Josh Alexander wins and then loses his championship within 7 seconds after after Moose wins the where is it? The Call Your Shot gauntlet and cashes in his win at that moment the same night. Unexpected, yes, I wasn't expecting it at the time, and it definitely ruined what was a big build to a big moment for Josh Alexander, probably one of the biggest moments of his career, and it was just ruined within seconds. And this should have been done maybe on the following pay-per-view if they were going to do it, the cash-in thing, if you want to call it a cash-in for Moose. Yeah, absolutely ruined it for me. And again, maybe in time I will come to appreciate that. And I know obviously what's happened months after this, or a year on, near enough now from this. Josh Alexander he's done well from it. He's benefited well. We had that awesome match between Mickey James and Deonna Purrazzo as well for the Knockouts World Championship. I really did like that one. The Good Brothers against Finn Juice versus Bullet Club as well for the Impact World Tag Team Championship. Pretty cool. Having Heath and Question Marks versus Violent by Design. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I would have left for Impact Wrestling, unless it was a really big name coming back. No disrespect to Rhino for that. Former TNA World Champion, I know, but a really, really big name that we hadn't seen for a while would have been a bit more exciting, in my opinion, anyway. And then we had that awesome X Division Championship match with Steve Macklin, Trey Miguel, and El Fantasmo. But yeah, that was that one ranked in 8th place. 7th place, Bound for Glory 2007. So this one was just absolutely packed full of awesomeness throughout. I just love watching this one back. I never get bored of this one. It's like a really good favourite of mine. Even though it's not higher up, it's still a good one. We have Kurt Angle versus Sting for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in an absolutely fucking brilliant match, in my opinion. And we got Jay Lethal and Christopher Daniels for that X Division Championship, but that was awesome as well. Really, really enjoyed that. We've got the Monsters Ball 4-way with Black Rain, Raven, Rhino, and Abyss. Steiners against Team 3D in a tables match. I'm just reading out ones that stand out to me, guys. That's why I'm skipping quite a few on some of them. I'm trying to, make the video a bit more faster for you, so you're not just sat here for a long time, listening to me. Knockouts, Gauntlet Battle Royale as well. Battle Royal, sorry, not Royale. To crown the first TNA Women's Champion. So that was a very important point for TNA at that time to crown the first ever Knockouts champion, Gail Kim. Number 6 in my rankings, and this probably raise a few questions and get a few people talking maybe and why I've put this 6th. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion of why I like this pay-per-view. It's the odd one out, I guess, to some. It's the ugly sister of Bound for Glory, some might say, or the runt of the litter, or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't set in the States, it was in Tokyo, Japan, as it says on the front. And I thought it was really good, and I think I enjoyed the wrestling on it. For some reason, Japanese wrestling, or if wrestlers are wrestling over in Japan, seem to put on more of a exciting wrestling match and not much stalling going on, if you know what I mean. They just get straight to it, straight into the action, and I really appreciate that. The main event, it's not one of the greatest main events in Bound for Glory history. As I was saying earlier, in the case of being Bound for Glory 2020 with Eric Young against Rich Swann. Again, a tag team match for a main event does sound like it absolutely sucks, especially for Bound for Glory. But the match itself wasn't too bad. We didn't even have a TNA World Heavyweight Championship match here. It was a bit of a shame, really. But, I did enjoy it. Havoc against Velvet Sky was a good match. Tommy Dreamer and Abyss against Team 3D. Brutal and fun match. Samoa Joe versus Low Ki versus Kaz Hayashi as well. Good match. EC3 against Ryota Hammer. It was fun. Very funny at the beginning and just fun throughout as well. Enjoyable match. The whole card, absolutely good. I do enjoy it. And I really do appreciate it. And yes, 6th ranked in my rankings for Bound for Glory. And that one tends to go up and down every so often in my head for the how I should rank it, depending on what mood I'm in. So next up we have the 2019 Bound for Glory in 5th place. This one was very cool. We have Moose against Ken Shamrock, Brian Cage versus Sami Callihan for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have a ladder match for the X Division Championship. Tessa Blanchard, Jake Crist, AC Romero, Dega, and Ace Austin. Michael Elgin in a match there against Marufuji. We've got that cool tag team championship match. RVD and Rhino versus the North versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Obviously you got the Cool Your Shot gauntlet as well. It's become a tradition each year now. And I appreciate that, and I'm glad they've kept that in, and I hope they continue to keep it in for future Bound for Glories. And we have the Knockouts Championship as well, with Taya Valkyrie against Tenille Dashwood. But yeah, Bound for Glory 2019 ranked 5th in my rankings. In 4th place, again, this is another one that's going to raise a few eyebrows. Bound for Glory from 2017. And this one was from Canada. And this was a time where a lot of the big talent were leaving or had left. And they were pushing mid-card stars at the time. So we were having matches like Abyss versus Grado in a Monsters Ball match, which sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it was actually enjoyable. Sienna versus Gail Kim versus Ali, a freeway match for the Knockouts Championship. Awesome stuff. The Six Sides of Steel match, we had Lashley and King Mo against Moose and Stephen Bonner. And King Mo, he hardly ever makes any appearances in Impact. I'm not sure if he's still contracted to Impact or TNA or whatever you want to call him. But I remember it was a big deal when they signed him at the time. I think he's only ever appeared twice, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Maybe he has appeared on an episode or two of Impact, but I just can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, what was up with all that? That was a bit of a strange agreement or deal or contract or whatever. Yeah, and the main event, Eli Drake against Johnny Impact for the Global Championship at that time, because we didn't have a we did have a proper championship. It was called the Global Championship, which was strange because they kept going through all these changes and deals and partnerships, Global Force Wrestling, and it was all becoming confusing. And yeah, enjoyable main event for me, apart from the interference, but I'm glad the right person won. And yeah, we also had EC3 in a match on this one, I do believe, as well. Just trying to find it on there. The writing's so small, guys. I think he was. Where are you hiding to, EC3? Oh yeah, there we go. 6-man tag team match. EC3, Eddie Edwards, and James Storm versus Team AAA. So Phantasma, Pagano, and Texano. I think I said their names right, but yeah. Very good. Very good pay-per-view, that one. Next up, in third place, we have Bound for Glory 2012. Now we have lots of interesting matches on this one. The one that stands out big time for me, that I always like going back to and I never get bored of it. It's a brilliant way to, end the feud pretty much between James Storm and Bobby Roode in that awesome street fight they had. Really enjoyable one, that one. Sting and Buddy Ray against Aces and Eights. Pretty cool match, but looking back on it now and how things all turn out, it's questionable, I guess, to some. Rob Van Dam versus Zema Ion for the X Division Championship was pretty cool. Magnus against Samoa Joe, another good match. We had Tara against Miss Tessmacher for the TNA Knockouts Championship as well, it was also good. And then obviously Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries for that TNA World Heavyweight Championship, where Jeff Hardy had won the Bound for Glory series to get this opportunity. And that's something I would really love for them to bring back. And that's the Bound for Glory series. It was good. I enjoyed this, the points system, building up your wins, build up the points, the league table thing, and then the final four or the top four finished in the table would go off and have their semi-final matches, and then their final, and then the winner would go on to face the champion, the world champion at Bound for Glory. They should have stuck to that, and that was very enjoyable throughout the summer of every summer. You know what I mean? Back then, I think it went on for 3 years or so, if my memory serves me correctly. But yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is my third ranking. In second place, Bound for Glory 2018. Maybe raise a few eyebrows with that one as well. I don't know what it is about this one. This one keeps also moving up and down in the rankings in my head, but it's in second place at the moment. Even though I enjoyed the main event very much between Austin Aries and Johnny Impact, it was quite questionable afterwards what went down. We got Ali goes to the Undead Realm, which was very cool. I did enjoy that one very much. one of those cinematic style segments, matches, or whatever you want to call it. In that concrete jungle death match between LAX and Conan against DGZ. No, sorry, the OGZ and King. Sorry, guys, it's because the writing's so small. And yeah, that was absolutely cool. Very good match. They turf up the ring mat and expose the boards, and yeah, it's absolutely wild match. Got OVE rules as well. Brian Cage and Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix against OVE and Sami Callihan. Very good match. Tessa Blanchard defending her championship against Taya Valkyrie. You know, the Impact Knockouts Championship, that is. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, that was good. Eli Drake's Open Challenge was quite fun. And we had an appearance from James Ellsworth and Abyss, which was cool. But, yeah, the whole pay-per-view itself, I absolutely love it. And that's my second place, my second favourite Bound for Glory at the moment. And still in first place, sorry guys, still in first place, we have Bound for Glory 2011. Will I change my mind on this at some point? It's been my favourite for this long now, for all these years, 10 years, 11 years, whatever now. And I just absolutely love it. Sting against Hogan. And then what happens after that? It's absolutely fun to rewatch that back for me. You know, I just love it. Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. The build up to this was amazing throughout the summer. And then we got to the match itself. It was a good match, but the finish, it wasn't what I expected. And it wasn't what a lot of people wanted as well. We wanted to see Bobby Roode walk away with the World Championship here. But it was a fun main event. And the build up to this whole pay-per-view in general was just amazing throughout the summer of 2011. One of their best years they've ever had. And it's funny really, because Hogan and Bischoff's first Bound for Glory is right at the bottom of my rankings, and right at the top is their second Bound for Glory. Full Metal Mayhem, Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn, another one that sticks out for me. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Falls Count Anywhere, Mr. Anderson, Bully Ray. The I Quit match, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels. This whole pay-per-view, I just praise so much. It is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love Bound for Glory 2011. And that's why I ranked it number one in my Bound for Glory pay-per-view rankings, DVD rankings, whatever you want to call it, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for this. I'm sorry I've gone on for over half an hour now, but I did have to cover 17 DVDs or pay-per-views. Please feel free to comment. Let me know your favourite Bound for Glories. And again, as I said, this could change in the next few years for me as of the rankings. But we'll see what the future holds. Feel free to give me a like if I deserve one today, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And you'll